Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to Svalbard Longyear Echo November Sierra Bravo. It's an airport that's recently been released by Inibuilds, and it's an area that I got interested in a few years ago watching something called Fortitude, which was set here, and a lot of the filming was done in this area. And it's a very interesting place to go and explore in the gorgeous Taog Hangar H500C, which at the moment is most certainly one of my favourite helicopters. This is a training flight for me. Mistakes will happen, as you can see from the ATC people in the tower just before. They're really looking forward to this. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be relaxing. So hop in the seat next to me and let's take to the sky and see what happens. Well, here we go. Isn't this just beautiful? Beautiful scenery. And one of the wonderful things, of course, about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is that we can do this kind of walk-around thing, which certainly adds to the immersion. You actually really do feel like you're preparing the aircraft before you head into the sky. So let's just might get close enough. There we go. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. We've got our big searchlight just in case we need it. And let's open up here, get a bit closer. There we go. Check for any Arctic squirrels. They are the worst. Voracious drinkers of oil and eater of engines. They really do like to get in there close and have a nibble, but that looks all good to me. Let's release on this side. There we go. Quick look round here. Yeah. That's all good. Everything's fine. Check the tail rotor. Can stop crouching now. People think, why is he walking around crouching everywhere? Quick look in here. Everything is wonderful. Okay, let's jump inside. So this is going to be a nice relaxed flight for you, hopefully. You have, after all, signed the insurance waiver. There's your seat there. What we are going to do is take off. We're going to fly along the coast a little bit. There's a couple of features that might be interesting to have a look at, and yeah, just enjoy it. And for me, it's practice. Every flight that I do for me is practice these days. I don't get a huge amount of time on the sim, so I tend to find, because I'm jumping around between different aircraft quite often, what I'm having to do is tune back into them again. And the 500C is a nimble little beast, lovely little thing. I'm just checking my physical controls there just to make sure that everything is connected up. So yeah, I'm going to make mistakes. The experts out there who love leaving comments in videos, this isn't going to be picture perfect by any stretch, but hopefully I can remember enough so that I don't make a complete hash of it, and we can have an enjoyable flight. Right, okay, so I'm just going to sync up just check that my Virpil, yep, my Virpil collective, it was, let's try that again, there we go, my Virpil collective is all nicely synced up now, so I've wound it down to cutoff. I've engaged the idle cutoff button. As you can see, that that kind of little latch there raised up, popped up. So that's all good to go. We can now get the battery on. Have a quick check of all our lights, just in case. We can cancel that now. We're not going to be using the Garmin, but I will get that onto the map page. We can have some lights on, seeing as we're about to whap around.
TOS system test OK.
Very dangerous blades, and also we can have let's have the start pump on for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and have that off. Have the gen on at this point. Ignition to on, and that's all good. I tell you what I will do. Let's just turn the instrument lighting up a little bit, just because it's a tad dark. Of course, we are here up in the Arctic, and at this time of year the daylight is quite short, so but it's also quite picturesque as well. I should say this is live weather, So this is actually what it looks like. I had a quick look at the Svalbard webcams earlier on, and it did look as beautiful as this with the clear skies, so that's good to know. Okay, I'm going to start and I'm going to shut up so that you can actually hear the gorgeous sound of the engine starting. Temperature there, that's fine. No hot start. Engine rotor warning going off there. Okay, that's all good. Nice start. Let's have pitot heat on now, and quick check down just to make sure that I haven't missed anything else. That's all good. Happy with that. And our reignition light is on there as well, which is fantastic. Engine out is also on because we are wound down so low. So I'm going to gently increase throttle now. You can see the twist grip here is matching what I'm doing with my Virpil collective, and gently winding it on in a way that we don't over torque the engine as we add the juice. And you can see the rotor RPM warning has gone out now, so that's all good. So our throttle is at where it should be, and now we just need to increase RPM. And that is nicely holding there. We'll just decrease it again just as a check, and then we can increase it again back up to 104. And for that I'm using a switch on my collective. That's just an RPM adjustment switch. So there we go, that's in the green. So everything else is good, we are where we need to be. I'm going to put the landing light on as we're about to start doing things. So we're lucky, the weather today is absolutely gorgeous. There's not a lot in the way of wind, which is quite kind for me, although I do like to practice with a bit of wind. So we can do what we want to do. So we're going to hover taxi over to that H helipad there, and then we'll head off and have a quick look around. Really interesting area this. It's I am attracted to areas that are quite kind of barren and cut off, and you know quite hardy places you have to live. And this started off as a coal mining town, believe it or not, and yeah, it has some really interesting features to it. And luckily, Inibuilds added some of this into the sim. Right, okay, so I'm going to concentrate on doing some flying now. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go and have a look at the Arctic World Archive, which is a seed archive, where yeah, they're archiving seeds just in case we do anything really silly to the planet or anything happens to the planet. We have an archive of seeds that we can grow crops from again and hopefully rebuild, which is a little bit like a plot of a film, but there you go. We do have to consider these things. Right, I need to shut up and do some flying, so bear with me. I'm just going to dial in now. I always find my first takeoff, my first lift-off isn't always the most attractive as I dial into it, but let's see. Okay, so stick back a little bit because the rotor disc is tilted forward naturally, and I always find that I always pull it back a bit too much, so we'll see if I got it right this time. Quick cover check. Yeah, that's all good. And gently. beautiful, this helicopter. I always find that after flying the H145 I really do have to kind of just get the muscle memory switched over to the 500, because the slightest move and she is away. So just do a little bit of a spot turn. It's one of my weak point spot turns. Okay, and let's get going. So lucky with the weather, so calm. I do find in this area, I guess you sometimes find in some of the really remote areas of there's a stag down there in the water. In some of the really remote areas, the scenery sometimes can be lacking a bit because of the lack of really good, I guess, really good Bing Maps data, and also just attention to detail. So there's a few weird things happening on the coast here, but we've got the container port over here. This is a beautiful helicopter. It's always very difficult to describe. If you own it, you know what I'm talking about, but it's so smooth and it's so responsive, it really does feel like you're kind of strapping it on. It's that old kind of Spitfire analogy, isn't it? You don't strap into it, you strap it on. And this is very much what the 500 feels like. Incredibly nimble. Okay. So let's just, I'm just looking over at my map now. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. We can dial it out a little bit. One of the frustrating things, I did have a quick practice over here, just to see what the scenery, how the scenery behaved, and I was changing some settings, and I came over to this ship, which is really beautifully modelled, I have to say. But one of the frustrating things, and I know all the other helicopter sim pilots out there will feel the same, but it has these helipads marked on it. One of them has got a box in the way, but the other one is clear. And you know, if you fly helicopters in the sim, that one of the things that is such good fun to do is to land on things. It's good practice and it's also good fun. It's one of the advantages of helicopters, being able to go anywhere and do anything and all that kind of stuff. And this is one of those really annoying situations where you've got something that's incredibly inviting. It's even got an H painted on it, but then when you go and land on it, it's got no hard surface in the sim, so the helicopter actually starts sinking below it, which is a little bit frustrating. But there you go, one of those things that's there to tease us. So let's come back over to here. Just going to quickly check my head tracking. There we go, that's better. And we'll just do a fly past of the airport, and then we'll head off. I was actually really chuffed to see when Inibuilds released this. I went out and got it pretty much straight away. Because it's an airport that I do use from time to time, just for fun, just because it's interesting exploring the area. Not done a great deal in 2024 actually. Oh hello, we've got a stag on the runway. Get out of it. There we go. I'll charge him a few quid for that. Stag scaring services courtesy of Dreams of Wings Airlines. Yeah, so it's really nice to see that they did a proper job of it. Right, let's zip over this way. flying helicopters is just that freedom of movement, freedom to go where you want and land where you want, within reason, obviously. But it just it certainly adds to it. Noticing a little bit of stuttering, which is interesting, or not, as the case might be.
Terrain ahead, pull up. Terrain ahead, pull up.
Now I know this isn't a sensible
Terrain
thing
ahead,
to do,
pull up. Terrain ahead, pull up.
Let's turn her off. This is one of the drawbacks of flying in an area where there's lots of terrain and mountains in a helicopter. The GTN XI goes absolutely bonkers because it thinks you're going to fly into a mountain. This must be so nice to do, for real, hey? Really interesting scenery. And it was watching that Fortitude program that got me interested in. It's kind of like a sci-fi, I guess, sci-fi drama, although not really kind of set in the future with spaceships and that sort of thing, but it's more about I don't want to give any of the plot away, but it's science-based, shall we say. But yeah, really interesting, and some incredible scenery and also atmosphere that I think makes it kind of draws you to the area, I think. Okay, so we're just going to scoot along this coast. We'll pick up some speed now because we do not need to hang around, and she's quite a fast little rocket ship once we get going. Of course, one of the things up here is polar bears, so we definitely need to be looking out for the polar bears. I don't know about you, but flying helicopters is fun and relaxing, but the idea of landing somewhere and then getting eaten by a polar bear is not on my list of things to do today. Love the detail on the side of that. This is a good time to say, by the way, we have a Discord, so if you're on Discord and you fancy joining and coming along and saying hello, really great bunch of people there. We've got helicopter section, warbird section, GA, general aviation section, just general chat and all that sort of thing. Really nice bunch of people of all different kind of levels of experience with flight sim. So if Discord is your thing, come along and say hello, and look forward to seeing you there. And of course, it has to be said, and to be honest, I never really thought it had to be said. I always thought that people subscribing to your channel is based on merit. If you did a good enough job, you didn't need to ask them to subscribe, because if they like it, they're going to hit the subscribe button anyway. And this is why you see so many YouTubers having to say it. Apparently that's not the case. People will potentially enjoy a video. I've just been sorry, my attention was just drawn by that valley, but yeah, let's just stay on course. This is what happens flying helicopters. You see something and you go for it. Yeah, apparently that's not the case. So they always say you are meant to ask people to like and subscribe and all that sort of thing. So if you do enjoy this video, and only if you do enjoy this video, obviously, please do consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell, as they say. It just helps the channel grow. The channel isn't monetized, so it's not about the wonga. It's just about growing the channel and potentially kind of growing the community as well. I was talking about the Discord. It's really nice that there are a lot of people who are into the same sort of thing who've joined up there. So yeah, so that's it. That's the end of the sales pitch. Normal service will now be resumed, and we'll do some flying. Isn't this just gorgeous? So beautiful. I can't imagine what it must be like to actually be here. There you are, kind of, especially when it gets dark all the time. I mean, it's one thing it being daylight all the time, that must blow your mind as well. But when it's dark all the time, that must have quite an effect on the old psychology. But these dawns and dusks are quite stunning. So I'm just tootling across here now. First place we are going to go to is an old, I think it's a Russian mining encampment. And then the second place on the map is marked as a kind of an adventure hotel. So we're going to have a look at that as well. But I'm just zipping across the water and just being very careful, because when the water is as calm as it is right now, then it can be a little bit deceptive, and you can find yourself getting rather close to it, which is a bit embarrassing, especially if you start dipping the skis into it. Some old huts. Can you imagine being here in the middle of the coldest period? Longyear Bien, where we started off from, is I believe it's the most northernmost settlement in the world. So this is it. This is far north. We do a lot of flying in the Highlands of Scotland, which feel far north. This is far north. I was actually looking at, you may have caught some of the Aerostar videos on the channel, and I was thinking, you know, we've flown from Shetland over to Norway, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool to do a flight up to Svalbard? And I actually just plumbed in on a little nav map, plumbed in a direct, as the crow flies, flight from Shetland, from Sunbury up to Longyear Airport, and it was blooming miles. it was I mean, it was proper kind of 737 territory, which is something that I don't tend to do, and all the tube liner pilots will now be thinking 737, no, Airbus, dear boy. I haven't got a clue. They take me on holiday, and that's about as much of a relationship as, look at that, as tube liners as I have. But yeah, it was a little bit far for an Aerostar video. However, I then had another look, and there's potential to fly Sunbury over to Norway, then fly up Norway, and then head over from I think it was Hammerfest I was looking at. So that is potentially something that we might look at in the future. It might be kind of cool for a, I don't know, group flight tour or something like that in the Discord, but we will see. So we're not a million miles away from this old mining place now. So we will have a look. I think there's a lot more snow at the moment up here, actually, in reality. But I think what happens is it seems to balance the amount of snow on the ground based on the weather. So we're not seeing a huge amount of it in the sim at the moment. I think we'd be seeing a lot more in reality. But the actual weather conditions are live. There is no wind. and we've got these nice kind of clear skies, which is great, perfect for doing some sightseeing. So, in the chat, he thinks he's live streaming. I've done so much live streaming recently, I keep forgetting I'm actually making a video. Yes, in the comments, let me know what you're flying at the moment, what you're into, and also specifically really interested to know what your favourite. That's me getting ready for lunch. What your favourite helicopter is at the moment. I'm always on the lookout for what's good in helicopters. At the moment, I'm loving the high performance group H145 that I fly for HEMS and search and rescue. I did it was last weekend. It feels like a long time ago. I did a stream in the H145, the Huey, Taog's Hangars Huey, which is one of my favourites. Beautiful helicopter, really great fun. And yeah, this 500C, which is just sublime, really is great fun to fly. I just noticed something up here. Let's just have a quick. Something caught my eye while I was yakking. There's a light there. What it thinks it's seeing. Maybe it just saw a road, so it plonked a road light down. Maybe. You never know the mysteries of the Arctic. Light over here, which has mysteriously gone out. After watching Fortitude, you never know what you're going to get. Here we go. So here's the old mining. Oh, they've got a nice little helicopter runway there. There is a building. I don't know if that's Dunder Mifflin or if it's actually there, but yeah, can you imagine? You would see some beautiful sights here. But what a place to live. But anyway, it's a chance for us to have a bit of a practice land on, so let's do that. Again, we've got no wind. So just putting the brakes on a little bit. Steady, let's skid down a bit. So one of the things there that is quite, I guess also with the Huey as well, but certainly with the 500C, is the relationship between collective and pedal. And you notice it right at the moment where you're trying to do a nice smooth landing. So it tends to kind of catch you there. You're making tiny movements with everything and trying to remain stable, and then you lower the collective to land a bit, and then it yaws a bit. So I'm just going to try and see if I can. Yeah, so I just compensated a bit more then, so we've kind of finished off a little bit straighter, which is good to see. So there we go, abandoned Russian mining. Is it mining? I think it's mining. What does it say? Oh, it just says, no. Yeah, coal mine. Abandoned Russian coal mine. God, what a life. Can you imagine how hardy you'd have to be to live up here? I guess the pay must have been good. Maybe not. Right, let's lift off. Quick hover check. Everything's good. No wind, so we've got the luxury of just being able to head off this way. And let's zip around this coast. Some old accommodation blocks there. Yeah, definitely alive, isn't it? When I was very young, I saw a film called The Thing, the original The Thing, and there's a character in there played by Kurt Russell, who's the kind of hero helicopter pilot for the kind of survey station, whatever it is. And I had this idea how wonderful it would be to fly helicopters in an area just like this, and I guess that kind of still lives with me now. Whenever I guess it's one of the reasons I'm attracted to an area like this. The idea of being the survey station helicopter pilot must be pretty cool. Great bit of flying. Some really interesting, difficult kind of conditions to fly in as well, and very different from the normal conventional stuff that you'd probably be doing back at home. But nonetheless, quite beautiful. Oh, there's a town over there. It's interesting. Let's focus on the flying. Adventure hotel is like. That is just over this way, so we got a yeah, let's go for a zip through the mountains. You can see here, this is actually a good example of where the ground texture isn't quite as detailed as you might see in some other areas. Dramatic landscape, isn't it? Really is. Right, so I'm in a quite a steep descent here, steepish descent, so I'm just watching my speed there. Don't want to overdo things. close to overdoing it, so just going to come back a little bit on the collective and also pull the nose up a bit. There we go. Just arrest that overspeed situation.
500.
Which could easily happen. Now, interesting. There it is. It looks like it's modelled in the sim. I guess that's a Sobo put it in there. So, we have a luxury hotel up here. Well, I say luxury, I'm not entirely sure. It's an adventure hotel, which is good enough for me. As long as they got some good food and some Guinness and a comfy bed. I'm up for that. But let's go have a look. I didn't see a helipad here, so I'm not sure what we're going to find, but interesting nonetheless. That we don't want to prang into. Like that one. Notice my head tracking just went a bit funny then. Land, because it's a good opportunity to have a bit of landing practice. So we're going to land on that green. We'll land in front of the weather station, and that looks opportune. Okay, let's come around. So much about helicopter flying is smooth control, tiny inputs, and trying to reduce the amount of inputs you put in so that you're not fighting it, which is easier said than done. And we're lucky today that we don't have a wind to play with as well. There, going to ignore that. This was practice for me, so let's head back out again. So there's a point on approach where you are, I guess you're coming in to stop. You're coming into the hover to land, and it's at that point where the relationship with the pedals and the collective really does kick in, and as smooth and as beautiful and as flowing as you might feel your approach is, you can suddenly find yourself wobbling around everywhere. So let's just come back, coming in a bit higher this time, which potentially increases the risk of vortex rotor state situation, but we'll try and keep out of that. So skid left, or left skid down a bit. There we go, we're down. Excellent. That's a bit of a relief, to say the least. Anyway, so it's time to hit the bar, get something to eat, get something to drink, and I hope you've enjoyed this this little flight up here in the Arctic, exploring some really quite nice lighting and also some beautiful scenery. And maybe next time we might have a bit more snow and a bit more wind, but we will be back for sure, because this is a lovely place to fly. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the flight. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you again on the channel soon. Take care now. Bye bye.